Hello, everybody. Darshana Avila here, day 5 of Power to the P, month-long self-pleasuring mindful meditation practice. I am a somatic sex coach and a tantric body worker, and I've undertaken this journey really as part of a training that I've committed to of a daily practice for at least 30 days. And I decided as a way to hold myself accountable and share, I would record these daily video blogs. So that's what we're up to here. And for the most part, I have been creating a morning practice. I think there's only been one day that it ended up being like a midday. So I've been starting my days with a flow that feels equal parts meditative and reverent and sensuous and playful, and just seeing what comes up in that space for me. And so today was a really sweet mix of, let's see, in a certain regard, it was like going for things that I know work for me and then letting myself be surprised. So that was the mix today. And then what I know works for me is that this morning I went through like my very usual morning sadhana. And a sadhana is just a concerted practice, a spiritual practice. And that's been a part of my routine for many, many years now, since yoga came into my life and I began teaching and exploring Tantra. So this is more than a decade's worth of creating my morning practice in a way that works. And I did a bit of journaling and I did some silent meditation and I performed a ritual that I do each morning. And I really needed to move my body in just a more typically like yoga fashion way. And another frame up for a mindful masturbation practice is orgasmic yoga. That is actually how it is being presented in the sexological bodywork training that I'm a part of. And this is work that was informed by Dr. Joseph Kramer and many others. And it has been fantastic to take my concept of what my yoga practice looks like and fuse it into a self-pleasuring practice. So I actually started on my yoga mat today and I had my bathrobe on because I was still a little bit chilly, and just went through some of the stretches and the postures and the breath that I know I enjoy in that environment. And the music was playing in the background and guiding me along as it always does. And without forcing myself, I just said, okay, I'm going to see how this flows. Eventually, the postures that look a little more yoga asana-like gave way to a more free-form style of movement. And there was just a lot of like undulating and spiraling and shaking. I stood shaking for a long time. Just really letting the energy heat my body up and feel that vibration rising through me, literally awakening my cells and my fluids and my tissues so that I could be receptive. And that's the thing about doing a practice in the morning in particular, but really whatever time of day you're entering into it, it's not as if you could just like flip a switch and say, okay, done. I'm going to meditate, masturbate, whatever it is right now. There is some preparatory process that we always have to go through to bring ourselves into that state. And some days it's a more spacious one. You have a lot of time to give to it. And some days it's going to be a little bit more concentrated. And so it's getting creative with what works for you. And so as I was saying, like I just noticed my pretty typical morning practice and a fairly standard set of yoga postures that I normally do to warm up my body did eventually lead me toward a more eroticized and aroused state where I began letting my hands move all across my body, spending time on my yoni. I went close to a mirror. I've really been enjoying using a mirror and looking at my face, looking into my eyes, looking at my genitals, noticing what's going on with the color and the alertness of my nipples, the changes in my yoni as I go into my practice, when there gets to be that kind of swollen flush of color, lubrication, different things that you get to know your body in such an intimate way through this practice. And very often we've not done that for ourselves. We've not taken the time to connect in these ways because there is either a sense that it's shameful or that simply it's just not worth our time or unnecessary. And it's anything but. It is so worth our time and so very necessary. And I really hope that this journey is helping you to de-shamify your experience of connecting through self-pleasure. And so from there, I just went into this half dance, half yoga. Okay, these are no longer halves. A quarter dance, a quarter yoga, a quarter meditation, a quarter self-pleasuring. And it was very spontaneous. And I stood for a lot of the practice, which is quite different than normal. I'm usually laying down or seated, like with support on my back and like in a reclined position. And so I was upright for a long time and then came down to a kneeling position, which I find is really wonderful for accessing my cervix. So for deeper internal contact for women, I suggest that you explore many different positions. And for men too, you can see what angles feel good in your body or ergonomically supportive for you to access yourself, all of yourself, in the ways that you might want to. So yeah, it was a fun and creative process. I am noticing that I've been ejaculating quite a lot during this journey. And that's something that I feel like I could probably do a whole nother video on. I have spoken about this in some other forums in the past of female ejaculation, and what I want to say just about ejaculation in general, regardless of your gender, as it relates to this practice. I really encourage you to determine for yourself what your relationship to ejaculation should be. And I hate should, is going to be for this. So if you are a man who is used to, or one who has a penis, because I want to be sensitive to the genders, and my apologies for the ways that I fall short, it is not intentional. If you have a penis and that is what you're normally used to doing, is stimulating yourself to the point of ejaculation, you have a release, and chances are your energy kind of drops down afterwards. Explore not ejaculating. Explore bringing yourself to the edge of your pleasure and tracking back down and up and down and up and down, riding waves. Or if you are going to ejaculate and you're used to keeping it very contained and clean and neat, can you just let yourself go with abandon and be wild? And if you have a yoni and a vulva and you are experiencing ejaculation happening in your practice, notice what comes up. Is there shame? Is there fear? Or is there disgust? Is there intrigue? Is there delight? Is it depleting your energy? Is it raising your energy? All that we're doing in this practice is really being very present with our experience and cultivating a conscious relationship to our pleasure. And so I enjoy getting to see what comes up for me. I hope you're enjoying getting to see what's arising for you. There will be more of these videos to come. I delight in hearing from you. So if you've got something to share, you can email me, you can message me, you can comment on these posts. I will be back with more, and I look forward to journeying with you. Have a beautiful Sunday.